Hello my dear children, Namaste, good evening and welcome to the last chapter, Pollution in One Shot, which is part of your Class 10 ICSE Biology syllabus. And this is Ambika, Master Teacher of Biology at Vedantu. Okay, so as I told you, we've been doing the one-shot series for quite some time now, and today is going to be the very last chapter. We will be done within like 15-20 minutes. The entire chapter, the overview of the chapter is what we intend to be doing in the one-shot series, right? As you all know about this. And in case you've missed out on our regular sessions wherein we've discussed everything well in detail, please do go back to the ICSE Class 10 Biology playlist and watch all of the videos in detail before you actually forget the concepts. Okay, so let's get started with the motivational quote as always. This is what I have to tell you today. Be miserable or motivate yourself. Whatever has to be done, it's always your choice. So you are totally in charge of yourself. It's a very, very, very wrong thing for us to blame another person or other people or circumstances if something goes wrong in our lives. Whatever it is, good or bad, let's face it, we are completely responsible for it. Once we have understood that logic totally, and once we have accepted that completely, definitely life is going to be much more beautiful for us. Okay, so let's remember that in every situation, whatever we do every single day in life, because it will help us move forward with a lot more confidence. Okay, and here we go. As you know, Revise India camp happened last week, especially for CBSE children. Many of you were part of it. But then just in case you missed out those 3 dates, because it was on the Feb 20th, 21st and 22nd. So those of you who missed the Revise India camp, you have the opportunity to go to our portal, the Vedantu portal, and feel free to watch it anytime you want. It will be available to you until March 18th. Okay, so which is why we've put this here again. Remember, till March 18th on the Vedantu portal, you can watch all these sessions once again. And let's move ahead. The chapter is about pollution. And as you know, pollution, what do we mean by it? It is the addition of any unwanted substances in the environment which can cause adverse effects on the environment, including human beings, raw material sources, and all other living organisms, right? And then pollutants, what are they? Pollutants are substances introduced into the environment which adversely affects the environment. So both of them, you need to know how to define them. In case the definition is given to you and you are asked to write the word for it, you must be able to make out whether it's pollution or pollutant. Okay, so it's very, very simple. As you know, obviously both of them don't mean the same thing, right? So all you have to do is read it completely clearly so that you are able to write the answer properly. Okay, and moving ahead, these are the different types of pollution we learn about in this chapter: air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, radiation, and noise pollution. 5 major types of pollution which commonly affect living organisms in the present day world. Right, so what is it that you need to know about these? Okay, so let me just quickly tell you that for all of these categories of pollution, you must know the sources of each of these kinds of pollution, which means the pollutants or the causes of each of these types. So first of all, sources, and secondly, the impact. How do they affect the planet Earth? How do they affect living beings on the planet Earth? Right, and thirdly, control measures. Right, these 3 about each of these is all that you need to know in this chapter. Okay, so however it may be easy for you, I'm very, very sure that some of these are very, very simple, so simple that you don't even have to read up to write this, because especially people who have like dust allergy and stuff like that would certainly know what it is caused due to, right? So that is just one kind of example I'm giving you, because unfortunately most towns and cities in India are highly polluted these days. Water pollution, air pollution is all very, very common. So most of you, even with experience, you will be able to write at least some points about each of these, right? Anyway, let's move ahead and summarize whatever we have learned in this chapter. Air pollution, first of all. Pollutants, the different kinds of air pollutants we talk about are NO2, SO2, dust, cotton, mining particles, and so on. And among these, stuff like dust, cotton, and mining particles, we call them particulate pollutants, right? Particulate pollutants, because they are particles which act as pollutants. Particulate pollutant is the term given to those. So you must know that term in case you're asked to identify, probably like pick the odd one out or choose the correct answer from the following or something like that. You must know what we mean by the term particulate pollutants. Okay, and now about the sources of air pollution. Of course, there are a lot of them. As I said, most of us know about this in present day world, but just to give you a gist of it, different kinds of transport, because motor vehicles do add to a lot of air pollution, right? Improper or careless waste management, industry and energy supply, of course, and then dust, agricultural practices, careless agricultural practices, we should say, and then household energy. All of these, if improperly used and not put in check when and where necessary, can add to a lot of air pollution. Okay, and now coming to what it does. This is why air pollution is called the silent killer. Because of all the statistics, well, it's a lot of studies claim that every year around 7 million deaths occur due to exposure to both outdoor and household air pollution. Okay, so all of that is just there for your information, but then be aware that air pollution can cause major health diseases like these, like strokes, heart diseases, lung cancer, dust allergy, even like chronic and acute respiratory illnesses. A lot of these. You can think about myself, because until I came to Bangalore, I was born and brought up in Kerala. So I'm not saying Kerala is a completely pollution-free state, but then it is definitely less polluted as compared to the city where I am now, which is Bangalore. Unfortunately, Bangalore has lost its previous charm. It's not eligible to be called Garden City anymore, because it's more like a very, very overcrowded and polluted city. One of the most polluted cities in India, we can say, right? So it's after coming to Bangalore that I have developed problems like, I keep getting acute or short-term respiratory illnesses like cold and dust allergy and all such things. And also I seem to have developed chronic dust allergy also, just because of continuous exposure to dust in the city. Okay, so whatever it is that we can do, it's not possible to completely stay isolated indoors, because we need to go out and explore the world. We need to do a lot of things. Whatever it is that we can do from our side, let's take care of all that. Okay, so I told you my example just so that when you write for your exams, it becomes much easier for you. If at all one or two of you also benefit from what I just told you, in the sense if it helps you recall things easier, then I would consider it as a positive thing. Okay, and of course, as I said, stroke, heart diseases, and even a lot more worse health conditions can also be caused as a result of air pollution. Now moving to the solutions. What can we do to control air pollution? All of these, like investing in energy efficient power generation, improving domestic, industry and municipal waste management. Basically, improvement in waste management is something that at the households level also we need to take care of, and even at the highermost level in the country, whatever level it may be, everyone needs to take care of this. And it shouldn't be like, we certainly must get rid of the mentality that, okay, my house is clean, I don't care about where the garbage goes. It shouldn't be like that. A clean India, green India is what all of us certainly must aim at, because it's our country, it's our responsibility to keep it healthy and green, right? So let's bring back its charm. Together we can certainly do it. Okay, and then reduce agricultural waste, incineration, forest fires, agroforestry activities, all of that, and make greener and more compact cities with energy efficient buildings, and of course providing universal access to clean, affordable fuels and technologies for cooking, heating and lighting. And of course things like using affordable and safe public transport systems and eco-friendly, pedestrian and cycle-friendly roads, pedestrian and cycle friendly networks, which is something that probably is lacking in most parts of India. So let's hope we get all of these very, very soon. But yes, let's do our part first, which includes all the others. Whatever we can do as an individual, as a family, let's do that first. Okay, so that's about control of air pollution. Now coming to water pollution. Water pollution, of course, we talk about different kinds of pollutants like domestic wastes, industrial wastes, oil, and then pesticides and fertilizers, because runoff from agricultural fields can add to water pollution. And because of that, our water bodies become contaminated and polluted. Our marine, aquatic and estuarine, our marine freshwater and estuarine habitats become adversely affected. Those organisms find it very, very difficult to breathe just because their water bodies are polluted. So we need to take care of all those stuff also. Yes, so these are the various sources of water pollution that we have discussed in this chapter. A lot of them. You can look at them. As I said, agricultural runoff is one major thing, like commercial and animal fertilizer and fodder as mentioned here. Surface runoff, which is also what I mentioned. Underground aquifers, groundwater, also it seeps, all of this toxin also seeps underground, right, and adds to pollution of the groundwater. And yes, plants, algae, all of them get affected, and of course industries, households, and then different kinds of activities in towns, all of them can add to water pollution. Okay, so these are the major sources. And yes, stuff like, activities like mariculture and different kinds of cargo ships and container ships and all those, they can also add to water pollution. Okay, now what is the impact? Of course, we know urban and domestic use, it gets affected, and social values and tourism, human health gets really, really badly affected. Commercial fisheries, as I said, even if it's not commercial, normally itself it gets affected. Fisheries, and as I said, aquatic life in general gets affected. So definitely people who are dependent on that, the category of human beings who are dependent on fisheries as their source of income, definitely get affected adversely, right? And ecosystem health in general, industrial productivity, agricultural productivity, property values, all of these are adversely affected because of water pollution. So even if you just can remember 4 or 5 of these points, I think that's good enough. Okay, so definitely go through these, children, whatever it is that you can easily relate to, make sure you're able to write your answer based on that. Okay, and of course, what can we do to control water pollution? Taking bath from drinking water sources should be prohibited. Definitely very strict rules have to be imposed on such activities, right? And separate ponds and tanks should be reserved for water supply to animals, because we humans end up being very, very selfish and do not give much importance to the life of other organisms. We need to take care of them also, because we are all supposed to be living in harmony with each other. And domestic and farmyard sewage should be suitably treated before releasing them into the water, right? Very important. And overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides should be avoided. It has to be used, but sustainably, with a kind of balance. So this is about control of water pollution. Yes, before we move ahead, let me remind you once again, take a very short break. I know you are all stressed out because of exams. So once again, we bring to you the jingle contest, the Vedantu tune. All of you know the tune because you keep seeing the ad on television also and before every session here on YouTube. So record your Maza version of the song. Fill and upload this video in the form, the link of which is given to you here, and stand a chance to win amazing goodies worth 25,000. Okay, so participate now before it gets too late. One of you had sent me an email saying that you do not know where to upload this. So in case you're not able to find the link is given here. It's a very, very short link, so you can even type it out, see if you can upload it there. Okay. So let's move ahead. Soil pollution. So we're done with air, we're done with water. Next is soil pollution. What is it? Affecting everything, adversely affecting life in the soil. That is what soil pollution is all about. Sources, so many different sources, all of these that you can see. surface runoff, chemical and microbial degradation in water, leaching and preferential flow. So many things that you can think of. And of course, in addition to them, industrial waste, domestic waste such as plastic and biomedical waste. All of these are really bad soil pollutants, so we need to take care of those also. Okay, so let's think of them. In addition to all this, these are also very bad soil pollutants. Okay, what are the effects? Obviously, the soil ends up losing its fertility, its quality. It ends up becoming less fit for agriculture, and soil bacteria are killed, right? In a way, because life in soil gets affected, the quality of the soil gets deteriorated. So both of these points are in fact interconnected. Control of soil pollution, what is it that we can do? Simple measures that we can take care of. We end up thinking that it's somebody else's responsibility, but each of us is equally responsible for all of these things, children. For example, adoption of sustainable agricultural practices like organic farming and use of biofertilizers, bio-integrated pest management, proper waste management, all of that is very important. Okay, and proper water management, composting, everything is very important. Even at a household level, we can take care of things like these. And adoption of suitable and proper industrial and urban waste management, control of heavy metal and toxic substances. Even in daily items, we end up using many of such harmful metals knowingly or unknowingly. But at the industrial level, probably the use is a lot more. So we need to control all those things. And then non-biodegradable wastes, we can recycle them and use them again. Remember, recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle, the 3 R's that we always keep talking about. And then biomedical waste should be carefully disposed of so that it does not create any health hazard. Very important. Needles, bandages, all these things need to be very carefully disposed of. These can help in controlling soil pollution to a great extent. Yes. Now, before we forget, let's recall that microcourses are available to you at flat 1 rupee. So do visit the microcourse section, children. The link is given in the description box below. And whatever concept you find difficulty with, please do get your concepts cleared right now and not on the eve of the exam. Okay, so this is there to remind you of that. You can pick from the 2000 plus options that we have. Just have a look and you will understand for yourself what you can do with it. Okay. Now we have 2 more remaining, which is radiation and noise pollution. Radiation, of course, is the addition of ions which can affect biological processes. Natural radiation is everywhere, we know about that, but we need to know specifically what are those sources. Of course, everything these days we can think of has a lot of radiation, generates a lot of radiation, but there are certain things that we may not know about, like for example, food and drinks, radon gas from the ground, cosmic rays, buildings or soil. All of these also do generate spread around a lot of radiation. Okay, so this is just some statistics which is there for your information. And man-made radiation, of course we know, like radiation workers, people who work in radiation labs and stuff like that, places like that do get exposed to a lot of radiation. Then when you get exposed to CT scans and a lot of such biomedical procedures, also you get exposed to a lot of radiation. But yes, I do agree that radiation can prove beneficial in the treatment of certain diseases also, for example, cancer. But then as much as possible, let's try and come to a position where we do not fall into such illnesses. Okay, so those are things that we can control. For example, like even mobile phones, Wi-Fi radiation, all these things. Let's remember to follow simple procedures, simple things, simple tips, so that we don't become affected by radiation every single minute or every single second of our lives. Okay, so this is just there to give you an idea about natural radiation and man-made radiation. Now about the effects. Now, one major effect I told you is cancer. Cancer is everywhere these days, all around the world. If you think about it, around 15-20 years back, there were very few people around the world who were affected by this disease. But these days it's become such a common thing, unfortunately. So those are all because of uncontrolled exposure to radiation, partly we can blame it on technology, but of course we need to strike a balance. We can't completely do away with technology either. Like thyroid gland, your lungs, red blood cells, like for instance your the count of red blood cells, the count of platelets, all of that goes down because of too much exposure to radiation. Stomach infections or stomach related diseases, intestine related diseases, and bone marrow related diseases, all these are common because of too much exposure to radiation. Okay, so make sure you know all of these just in case it comes as a one marker as a multiple choice or as a 1 mark sentence question or something like that. You should be able to write the answer. What can we do to control radiation pollution? Proper storage and disposal of nuclear waste, and then increase the use of less harmful energy sources, and global understanding or awareness about its ill effects. Everything starts with awareness, right? So on a global scale, let's ensure that we can do our part to educate ourselves and educate people around about the ill effects of radiation, because that itself can go a long way in controlling all such diseases. And then the last one, which is noise pollution. So what are the types of pollution we've learned? Air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, radiation pollution, and noise pollution finally, which is what we are talking about now. Obviously, we are talking about any kind of noise which can disturb the peace of the environment and are unpleasant to the ears, which means above 80 decibels. Any noise is considered as noise pollution. And now coming to the sources of noise pollution, of course you would know this much better than me, but just to give you examples, various household sources, social events, commercial and industrial activities, various modes of transport, all of these can add to noise pollution. How does it affect us? The consequences of noise pollution are all these, of course. Temporary or permanent deafness can be caused. People end up feeling lethargic, feeling restless. And then of course it can affect plant growth also, because plants also need a lot of peaceful atmosphere, need a really peaceful atmosphere to be able to grow optimally. This has been scientifically proven, although it may sound a little weird to some of us, but this is very, very true. And then it weakens buildings and bridges because of the creation of waves, which can bring danger to the building, right? Because of the vibrations. And it reduces learning and reading skills, resulting in low subject scores. But then yes, the last one, do not take that as a reason, as a lame excuse for you to be like not reading and not being able to read with full concentration. I'm just telling you as part of our chapter, okay? Now, yes, this is about ozone depletion. Okay, so we know that the ozone layer is very, very important. It's part of the stratosphere. It protects us from the harmful effects of the ultraviolet radiation. So this is how depletion of ozone occurs. This is also an important concept, children, not commonly asked as a 5 marker, but certainly you must know, you need to know what are CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. Those are the most harmful chemicals which lead to holes in the ozone layer. This is roughly showing you how these holes are formed, the chemical reactions, the basic chemical reactions which occur causing holes in the ozone layer. And about the concept of biomagnification. What is it? Biomagnification is in fact the term which we use for increase in levels of toxins in subsequent trophic levels in a food chain. Okay, so I think as an example, this gives you a good enough explanation about what it is. In the sense, if there is a toxic substance in the environment somewhere, say for instance a pesticide or something like that, think about DDT, which I think is the example I gave you even when I taught you this chapter. It would be in a certain level at the producer level. Okay, it would be in certain amounts at the producer level. As we go higher up the food chain in terms of trophic levels, you would see that the amount of that particular toxin accumulated in the organic matter in each of the organisms in the respective trophic levels would multiply manifold. Okay, so that is what we mean by biomagnification. The amount of that toxin is getting magnified. Okay, the best example is DDT. Okay, and these are just general measures that we can use to control pollution, prevention of prevention of pollution and control of pollution. Well, we can start with disposing properly, segregating properly, treating everything properly, elimination and reduction. We end up using a lot more than we need quite often. Let's think about all these on a daily basis where we can apply them. Just pay a little bit of extra attention and you will be able to find out what you can do to reduce pollution in the environment. And with that, we come to the end of the summary of the chapter. And children, as you know, these are our ICSE 2019 toppers and you can certainly be there. Your exams are about to start, so you can certainly be there. Do not worry at all. We are always here for your support on the Vedantu 9 and 10 channel. You know, all four of us have been doing the fast track series. We've given you a thorough revision of every chapter. I hope that was very useful in boosting your confidence. In case you need more help, please do remember to send emails to any of us or post your questions in the comment section below. In case you've missed out the fast track sessions, please do check out the playlist and watch them before your exam. Okay, let's start with the quiz. Okay, which of these is caused by water pollution? Measles, tuberculosis, typhoid, chickenpox. Caused by water pollution. Very, very simple, because you would have learned this in your 9th grade for sure in the diseases chapter. Your time ends in 3, 2, 1 and go. The answer is typhoid, a waterborne disease. Name a disease caused by prolonged exposure to radiation. Again, something that we've discussed even in today's session. Your time ends in 3, 2, 1 and go. The answer is cancer, of course. I thought this was too simple to give you options for, which is why I didn't add them. Now, which among these is the main cause of ozone depletion? Is it sulfur dioxide? Is it carbon dioxide? Is it CFCs or is it nitrogen dioxide? Okay, your time ends in 3, 2, 1 and go. The answer is CFCs, which are chlorofluorocarbons. And the next one, ozone layer is present in the dash. Is it part of the troposphere? Is it part of the stratosphere? Or is it part of the mesosphere or the thermosphere? Yes. Your time ends in 3, 2, 1 and go. The answer is stratosphere. Okay, the next one. Inhalation of dash lowers the oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin. Okay. Inhalation of which of these lowers oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin? Is it carbon dioxide? Is it carbon monoxide? Is it nitrogen or is it dust? It's something that hemoglobin has more of an affinity for as compared to oxygen. Okay, think of it like that. And I want you to give me the answer in 3, 2, 1 and go. Your time ends. The answer is carbon monoxide. Hemoglobin has a higher affinity for carbon monoxide, even more than oxygen, which means if given a choice between carbon monoxide and oxygen, hemoglobin would automatically bind to carbon monoxide. So poor oxygen is left alone, because of which oxygen supply in our body gets affected. And there we go. Well done, children. We are done with this chapter and in fact all the chapters in one shot. So please do have a look at them if you have missed out any of them, because within 20-30 minutes every chapter's revision has been done in this series. Okay, so for your information, once again, here is the complete ICSE Biology playlist. This is the playlist of the diagram series of biology, in which we have 5 videos. This will certainly help you score better in section B. And the fast track series, where you can find physics, chemistry, biology and math, all the subjects, all the 4 subjects and all the chapters of these 4 subjects have been included in the fast track series. And yes, Students Corner, all your exam related anxiety, stress, timetable making related, note making related, anything and everything that you can think of in the exam season, you can find the answers to all those questions in this playlist here. So do have a look at those also to get that extra winning edge, because not just academics, you need certain soft skills and other simple things also like these to be able to perform your best. Okay. And here we go, once again proudly sharing our amazing 2019 results. Children, Vedantu children who studied with Vedantu have done us proud and their families proud by coming out with absolute great results. This is about CBSE 12th, this is about CBSE 10th, ICSE 10th, and also KVPY scholarship and PRMO. So definitely you can also be there. Take inspiration from your seniors, go on the right track, just focus on what you're doing, and you will certainly be able to reach the top. Okay. Thank you very much, children. So do remember to hit the like button if you have enjoyed this session. Please do remember to share it with all your ICSE friends, because especially one-shot series will certainly be beneficial to all of them. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, because until your exams are done, we will keep coming up continuously with a lot of interesting content, okay? And in the meantime, if you have any specific questions, please do remember to send me an email at ambika.gopalakrishnan@vedantu.com, okay? So happy studying, stay motivated all the time. Until we meet again, this is Ambika signing off. Bye-bye.